Hey guys, it's me again. Today's video, I'm going to be testing this power amplifier board from a speaker, specifically from a speaker like this. It's another one I believe that you've already seen before in a previous video. It's actually the same board that I worked on in the last video or two. And the reason why it's back on my table is because the customer was saying that the sound wasn't good. It sounded distorted. There was no bass and this and that. So I said, okay, I'll have a look at it. But I asked him, I said, can you bring me your other speaker? I want to compare with the other one that you have, because it's a pair. So this is the one that he gave me exactly last time that I fixed, and then he gave me the other one too, which is actually right behind me, that is working. So he has one that works absolutely fine, and then this one it doesn't work fine. So that's the amp board assembly out of the good speaker. And then this is the one out of the one that I had already opened up before. This is the one where I had to replace the regulator down here. The 7812 regulator, one of these two over here. One of these two transistors right there, see? And actually this time around I replaced the cap because I saw that it was a bit puffy. It started to puff, and I didn't see this last time. And the ESR actually measures just fine, believe it or not. You probably can't see it, but yeah. So the ESR measures just fine on this cap. And the top, you can probably see it's starting to bulge a little bit. Starting to bulge a little, tiny little bit. So I replaced it just for good measure. And yeah, so I have my scope meter here, and we're going to be using this to test our power amplifier here. So I was going back and forth with this one and this one, checking voltages, checking waveforms, and basically I'm gonna tell you right away, the problem is nothing to do with this board or this board, because again, that one is the one that works just fine, and this one was presumed to be faulty again. But turns out there's actually nothing wrong with this. The only fault that there was, and it was from last time, was that faulty regulator, because this thing wouldn't produce any sound at all. Turn on, but there would be no sound coming out. So again, just because of that faulty regulator that was over here. And on this one, actually, you'll notice the speaker crossover, which is normally over here, like it is here, it's just mounted on the side, like that. I took this crossover off on this one. I desoldered the connections and everything, and I was checking it out, testing it, and there was nothing wrong with it absolutely whatsoever. Even this one, there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. So I was just testing it and everything. And so basically what I tested was I put a 4 ohm load right here. This is a 4 ohm 100 watt load. I have my speaker outputs here that normally will go to the crossover, and from the crossover would split between the high and the low, but I'm just probing it like this because I don't need the crossover for the time being. And then yeah, so basically this is a probe that goes to my scope over here, channel A, and then I have at the same time the two leads that go to the load resistor. This is my ground, my reference, which is actually another probe that goes to the top here, and that's the COM, the reference. And then we have our second channel that is on the bridge rectifier, because I wanted to check out the waveform coming out of the secondary side of this transformer, and that's on this channel right over here. So we have basically on the scope, this is the 440 hertz that I'm sending to this amp actually on this cable using my XLR, not my XLR, my RCA cable right there. So that's my 440 hertz over here. This is the waveform coming out of the secondary side of this transformer, which is on the bridge rectifier right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you basically the 440 hertz signal, and I'm going to focus on that because, as you can see, this is the 120 volt AC signal coming out of the secondary side of the transformer, and as you can see, it's pretty much okay. There, it looks like it's clipping and everything, but it's okay. It's 120 volts AC. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna switch my trigger, because now it's triggering on the second channel. I'm gonna trigger on first channel, so now the second channel is gonna go crazy. We're gonna close, I said pause on a rising edge, and so I'm gonna go ahead and let me see if I can make this, yeah, because I gotta make my waveform smaller. Here we go. So this again is just, it's going crazy because now it's not in sync and it's not triggering, so that's okay. Again, 120 volt AC signal, 440 hertz signal coming out of my my generator, my frequency generator. So as you can see right now, the input is very low. It's not actually on a very high input. We are at a 5 volt division per division. Yeah, 5 volt division, and our time frame is 1 millisecond per division. So if I crank this up now, you'll see there's no clipping, and I'm gonna crank it up until it starts clipping. Oh, sorry, not that one. I'm gonna make this one smaller because we don't care about them, so we're gonna focus on that one. So now we're gonna keep cranking it up. Now my voltage division is 10 volts per division, and if I crank this, I keep cranking it up, as you can see, we still got a clean signal. And I'm gonna increase my voltage division even higher. So now we're at 20 volts per division. And I think we're just about to clip, I'm not sure. Oh, sorry, hang on. Yeah, right there. So you see? And that's at about 20 volts per division. And then we're starting to clip. And also our indicator is coming on. If you look under, our clipping indicator is coming on. So I'm going to turn this down a bit because I don't have a heat sink on my load resistor, so I don't want it to go too crazy. Yeah, because that thing gets really hot fast, so I don't want to, because it's basically, I'll tell you also now the calculation. So actually I'll make this a bit simpler for you guys. I'm going to close the trigger. We're going to switch to meter for a quick second. Here we go. So right now, yeah, here we go. So 4, and then also we have our frequency 440 hertz. So what's gonna happen now is, as you can see, I'm gonna keep cranking it. 11 volts, 20. Now we're at 20. Now it should start to clip right about now. Yeah, here you go. You see? So you know it's clipping because you look at the top edges and they're becoming flat. So you know that's clipping, and we're at 27 volts. It really starts to clip only, I guess, at about 25, something like that. Yeah, 25 volts RMS AC. So I'm gonna bring this down because I don't want to cook my my load resistor. We'll bring it down. We'll bring it down. I'm gonna bring it down. So I don't want to cook my load resistor, right? So what's it called? Yeah, because that thing gets hot. So basically, at 27 something volts, or 25, let's say, 25 something volts on a 4 ohm load, that means this thing is easily dissipating 100 watts. 100 watts of power, easily. So, and I was thinking, I'm like, is there really any issue with the power amp? So I went ahead and I compared with the functional one, and I got pretty much the same results. At about 27, 25 volts RMS AC, I started to see clipping, and again with a 4 ohm load, because that's what these speakers really are usually rated for. It's about 4 ohms, around something like that. So, and it started to clip, right? So I was like, is there really an issue with the power amplifier itself, or if there's an issue with the, the speaker itself, because that could be a possibility. So what I ended up doing actually was, after testing it with my scope meter, I went ahead, I unclipped my load resistor, I put it on the leads for the speaker, which are here, and I started playing music out of the speaker. And this one sounded awful, so I wasn't surprised. This one, it was completely gone. There was no bass, nothing. But then I said, it can be possible that the board is damaged because it tests fine with a load. It's a different story if there was no load, but we have a load. And it was testing just fine. So that means that this is actually working. There's nothing wrong with this board setup whatsoever. So that meant that the speaker was defective. So I actually grabbed the other speaker that he gave me, the one that I took that guy out of, and I connected the leads again to the back of the speaker, and I saw that it was just fine. So the speaker is defective. It's the actual, the woofer itself is defective. You can probably see it. It's right down in there. So the woofer itself is defective. The woofer is defective, which means we have to replace the woofer, because I don't have the expertise to fix that woofer, or even if it's possible, I highly doubt it's even possible to fix the woofer. So I'm going to have to let the customer know that the issue is not with what I did last time. It's a coincidence that the woofer is damaged. And the woofer could not have been damaged because I replaced the regulator. Because the woofer and the regulator, as you can see, there's no direct link. There's nothing that the regulator I replaced, there's nothing that it could do to damage the woofer. It's two completely different cases. So I'm going to let my customer know with what I found, the findings that I found. And I'm going to give him his options. I'm going to tell him, you can give me a new woofer and I'll put it in for you. I think these are 15-inch woofers, something like that. And I can put it in for him. Or he sells it as it is. And that's going to be pretty much it, because there's not much that I can do. He has one speaker that works fine. It's going to be the other one, not this one it belongs to. They're both the same speaker. It's just that I asked him to bring me the other one so I can use that as a reference. And this goes to show you that sometimes when you have a reference, like a known good reference, it makes your life a lot easier, right? So I tested with the load on this one, the one that was presumed to be faulty, and I tested it with this one, that I knew was absolutely fine. And I saw that my readings were exactly the same, pretty much. So then I went ahead and I knocked off a bunch of possibilities, and I went straight to the speaker, and I said there has to be something with the speaker that's defective. So, like I said, I connected the wires, and I saw that with this one, it was still very bad. There was no bass at all. It was distorted. But then when I swapped the speaker with the other one that was working just fine, and I took the leads out and everything, it was perfectly fine. So both of these boards are working like they should. It's the speaker itself. The woofer has to be replaced. And so I think that's going to be pretty much it for today. You notice that I didn't put my camera back up over here. As you can see, this is how I had it held on my last video or something, I believe, with these elastics. Because I have a lot of people that are complaining that my videos are unstable and that it's shaky over the place like this, and whatever, stuff like that. It's because I don't have a gimbal, and the gimbal is very expensive, and I'm not getting paid to make these videos yet, by the way, if people haven't noticed. So until that happens, it might be a while that I get until I get a gimbal of some sort, or any tripod or stabilizer, So because I'm doing the best that I can, like I said, even the last time I pretty much said this is what I have and this is what I can do. So, and well, for those who actually don't care about the moving around whatever bit too much, I appreciate your patience. And I hope you don't mind for the little time being that it might be a little bit shaky like this, but I try my best not to make it so shaky. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and we're gonna let the customer know with the findings that I have, and we're going to see what we can do. So if you like the video, please leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down in the bleep bloop section below, and make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss for until another video comes out. Yeah, that's going to be pretty much it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.